Hello everybody. Thanks for joining me. So today I thought we would do something slightly different than what I normally do. This is probably going to be a quick video, so I'm sorry if you guys missed this. Hopefully I'll at least catch a few of you here, but what I'm going to do today is I played some games on Saturday. I played two of them, and I won $34, so go me. But I won two games. They were pretty bad. Pretty low quality games on my part, but I still managed to win, so I guess that's good. Um, Motherfucker. Alright, hold on a sec, guys. I'm sorry. Be right back. Okay, sorry about that. My dog was upstairs eating the cat litter. It's kind of his go-to move. But anyways, so today I thought we would do something a little bit differently, or a little different. We are going to, I'll just analyze some of my games real quick. I'll kind of go over some of my thoughts. And we can just kind of hash things out a little bit. And then, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do today. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you don't enjoy this, let me know. I'm always interested in your feedback. I'm always interested in hearing about what you guys have to say. I know these games in particular are not very high quality. I would even venture to say that they're pretty low quality games. But they're worth examining. Every game is a chance to get better and a chance to examine. So with that, this first game, the first round, I was playing white. My opponent was not very high rated, but that doesn't really matter. He still managed to find some pretty good moves. So I'll go through the opening somewhat quickly here. This is just the Slav. But here he makes a move that I consider to be pretty weak. I think I've won, if not every single game, then I would say my record in this opening is pretty good. Like I would say it's like, and by pretty good it's like 13-1 over the, or 13-0-1 or something like that over the board. Like I've beaten nearly every opponent who's ever played this against me. Maybe one exception that I can think of offhand. Actually, I wonder, are they gonna let me look at my games? Oh, they are. Interesting. Alright, well, I can tell you exactly how many games I've won from this position. I've won some important games from this position too, actually, but the vast majority of the players who play this opening and play this position as black are pretty weak. That's generally what you find. Oh, my score is pretty good against the Slav, which is somewhat misleading, but whatever. Yeah, so bishop f5. Wow, apparently I lost a game to someone in this. Who did I lose to? Yeah, so you're gonna see a familiar pattern here, which is that I play the same moves here, but who the hell did I lose to in this opening? I am intrigued now. Oh, right. Yeah, that was 2011. That was a long time ago. But since 2011, I've won nearly every single game. I had a draw pretty recently, but other than that, things have been pretty good for me in this opening. I've scored pretty well. So, as you can guess, I played my move, Queen B3. I think I happen to like this move. It applies some good pressure here on the center. And my opponent played what I would consider to be a pretty weak move. He played Queen D7. I think the best option here is to go Queen B6, as many of my opponents have done in the past. Mostly all of them, I would imagine. Yeah, so... yeah, actually, it'd be interesting to see this game, if this game is any where we deviate. But anyhow, so he played Queen D7 and I played Knight E5. I think that white is doing well here. I wouldn't say that I'm crushing him by any means, but I would say that I'm doing well. So now um, he's going to lose a pawn here, but as it turns out, it isn't that big of a deal for him to lose a pawn in this position. So I took, and he took. And then following my natural plan, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm attacking his pawn twice. I don't see how... If I give him an extra move, let's say like I just do e3 or something here, he'll play e6, and I was like, this isn't really a big deal anymore. Like, yeah, my position is a little bit better. He's got an awkward queen, but like, so what? So, oh shit, god damn it. Sorry, I'm just trying to get back to the position here real quick. So, I thought here that I should take this pawn. So I did. I was like, I don't really see why I shouldn't take that pawn. So I will take this pawn because I am greedy. I'm very, very greedy. So he took, and I took, naturally. He played this move e6. A very obvious move. You know, I was starting to play checkmate on f7. Let me just see if anybody is here on Twitch. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. It looks like I am the only one here, so that's great. I'll just do this analysis for myself. And I'm interested actually to see if where this game deviated from the other game I played against Tom. So this was in 2012. So okay, interesting. So Tom immediately took on c4. Yikes! This is an interesting position. Yeah. So yeah, he just kind of gave up the center pretty easily there. So here I played a move that I don't necessarily love, but it's interesting. I played queen b5 check. Queen b3 might have been a little bit better, but I kind of like my move. Queen b5 check. It's not bad, but it's not the best. So he plays knight c6. And here I started going into the tank a little bit, you know, because I was like, all right, well, I can take on c6. And that seems pretty good. Or I can play like, you know, I've got a lot of options here. I can go bishop f4, I can go f3, e4, I can go e3 immediately, get my bishop out somehow. White has a lot of options. There's a lot to be said in this position. But what I was thinking was like, okay, bishop f4, a6 was the move I was thinking about. And then I was like, okay, queen a4, b5. And then I started to think like, this isn't really all that great for me. You know, I don't really love this position anymore. So let's pretend I go like queen b3 here or something. Okay, I can't do that. So I have to go queen d1. Yeah, bishop b4. All of a sudden, this isn't so great. Yeah, he can play like knight d4 or something here. And like now he's got a lot of pressure here. He's managed to mobilize his forces pretty good, and he's got everything in this position. Actually, I'm pretty uncomfortable here. So, anyways, God damn it. So, anyways, what I did do was I took on c6. If we just get back to the position here. So I played knight c6, and he played bc6, which is a very natural move. He's opening up the b file. I somehow thought during the game that this would be a lot bigger of a weakness than it turned out to be. So it's worth. Let's see who's here with us. So thank you for joining me. So today I'm just doing some game analysis from a game I played on Saturday. 2 games I played on Saturday. I'm going to kind of go through them somewhat quickly, but that's what I'm doing today. So sorry if you were looking for some blitz chess or some 15-minute games. I'm just doing some analysis. Anyways, so bc6. So here I've got to make a move. My queen is on pre. What I played was queen a4. I did look at queen c4. I thought that was interesting. Queen b3 I thought was kind of interesting. Queen e5 even possible. But I played queen a4 thinking like, all right, I'll keep the pin on his king. And then maybe in some dream lines I'll play this, and I'll get this in. And then I'll eventually win the pawn and things will be really good for me. So queen a4, bishop d6 I thought was pretty reasonable. I thought that that was a pretty reasonable move. I played this move bishop d2, right? Because ultimately I wanted to put my bishop on f4, but he put his bishop there first, so not really much I can do about that. Castling I thought was good. Actually, here, hold on a sec, because I thought e3 was possible here too. Is e3 okay? E3 is decent, but oh god damn it, that's gonna fucking kill me. So boop, 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 boop. Take, 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 take. Here, castle's kingside. Okay. And here I might have been a bit greedy, but I played rook c1. I want to load up on this pawn. That was kind of my idea. It was possible for me to play e3. That would have been interesting. Maybe a little bit safer, even. But I played rook c1. And I was greedy here. I was greedy in this position. I was thinking like, okay, I'll load up on this pawn. I'm going to win this pawn. And his, you know, like, he doesn't really have a great way of punishing me just yet, so I don't know. So anyway, he played this move c5. And I was like, oh, this is cake. I can just take this. So I did. But what I missed in this position is, I'll let you guys think about Black's reply real quick. I'll be right back. I'm going to go just take care of something real quick. But I'll be right back. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So, let's see. Is anybody saying anything interesting? Ah, okay. 3 of you are here. One of them is me. Thank you for joining me. Doing some game analysis. So here I played dxc5, which I think is probably the best move, based on what I've said earlier. And I missed what his reply was, though. So I missed that he could play this move bishop e5. And this is kind of annoying. I'll be honest here, because he's moved his bishop to a really great square. I've got this passed c-pawn, which I think should be pretty good. But, yeah, I thought that that would be... this is kind of annoying. And so the problem here is that I was thinking that, like, oh, okay, like, no big deal. I can play b4 here. But then he plays a5, so we can look at that real quick. I wonder what the computer actually says about this. Oh, b5. Yeah, that would have been better. For some reason here I was thinking I had to play a3. But that's really bad. Yeah, as we can see. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to... This is so aggravating. Ugh. I'm sorry. I'm such an asshole. So, in that position, I played, So right, so we're back. So in this position, I was thinking, okay, like b4, a5, but a5 I guess doesn't work. I was also thinking he could play rook d8 here. That's also a possibility. Go ahead and turn this off because that's annoying. And it's better to analyze this without the computer, just in general. So when you're doing game analysis, do it without the computer, because that's how you learn. So rook d8 is kind of interesting because he has sacrificial ideas on d2, and that can be problematic for me, or for white in this position. So, yeah. Anyway, I was also thinking I could play bishop c3 here. But then somehow I thought that like queen c5 might work. So I wonder actually, queen c5. Yeah, I think queen c5 actually does work here. Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here I played, I think, what is I would consider to be an inferior move. So I played this move. So in this position, the computer's giving e4. I looked at that briefly, but then I was kind of like, well, how does that really affect the tea prices in China, sort of thing. Like, I don't really understand what the idea is here. E4, bishop g6, but who gives a fuck? Like, oh, bishop a6, is that the idea? I don't know. This is kind of computery for me, for my feeble mind, to understand really what the computer's trying to get here. I guess like it wants to castle maybe. I don't know. This is I don't know. I would think like a human response would be to play like b4 or something here, but I don't know. So I played like queen a3, and that's pretty dubious in my opinion as far as I can tell, because like he's got these ideas which can be kind of annoying. I still haven't castled yet. I'm kind of getting kind of getting caught with my pants down here in the middle. Sweet. What's up, Prime Shoot? So we're just doing some analysis today for everybody who's joining us. Holy fuck, there's like 5 people here. This is the greatest stream ever. So I'm just doing some game analysis from the games I won on Saturday. I played pretty badly, just as a FYI, but we'll all learn together. So I played queen a3 in this position. I'm not really thrilled about it, but it's what happened. So here he played this move rook d8, which I thought was pretty obvious, pretty straightforward. And here I had 2 options. I had 2 candidate moves. I was thinking, okay, bishop c3. Maybe 3 candidate moves. b4 or e3. I didn't like bishop c3 because... Why didn't I like this? In retrospect, I don't know why I didn't like bishop c3. I should have probably played bishop c3 in this position, in lieu of what happened next, but... Yeah, so I wonder what happens after bishop c3, actually. So bishop c3, queen d7, yes, but who cares? e3. I don't know, I'm pretty happy in this position. I'm actually very happy in this position. But what I did play was I played this move e3. But now he's got this crazy idea, which I didn't even really consider, which is to my detriment. He's got this rook d2 idea. And now things are, I saw this move and I was like, okay, like, I paused here for a minute and I was like, what the fuck? Come on. There's no way this should work. So I was like, alright, king d2, show me something. Queen d7 check. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. But now what does white do? Right? So white's kind of... e4 takes the space in the middle and let your bishop... Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with the idea of letting the bishop free, I guess. But I just didn't... I didn't see how I could hold this pawn, and I was so fucking greedy. I was so greedy. That's ultimately what this game is like. Essentially, like the lesson here is like, don't be this goddamn greedy, right? So at this point, like, I'm kind of rattled a little bit, right? Because he just made an exchange sacrifice, and I'm like, all right, well, fuck, I've got some problems here, right? Because the lines I was looking at here was that like, all right, so queen d7 check, no big deal, right? King e1. Rook d8 is a pretty obvious move. And now I've got this problem. And I was like, all right, well, queen b4. This is all stuff that I saw over the board. Queen b4. But then I started thinking, like, all right, queen b4, but, like, maybe he goes rook b8 here. And then I was like, well, that doesn't seem great. But I think what I missed, and here, let's see here. Queen a5. Really? I can get away with that? What about rook b2? Oh, okay, so that's super interesting. So, yeah, what I missed here was that, and we can just go back, in this position, right, what I had looked at was like, all right, king e1, right, so king e1, rook d8, queen b4, because I have to hold on to this square, and then I saw this move rook b8, and I was kind of like, well, shit, that doesn't seem good. And then I was like, all right, well, queen d2. And then, you know, he'll take, and I'll take, and he'll take with check, and all of a sudden I'm losing this pawn, and my king's still stuck in the center, and I'm not developed, and this just seems like a bad time. So that's kind of what my thought process was here. I was like, well, this just seems like shit, right? So I wonder, yeah, I got some advantage still because I have an exchange, but I don't know. That just didn't seem great. So I kind of went into crap your pants panic mode here, and I was like, ah, shitski. And I tanked for like 10 minutes in this position. And I started analyzing all these lines here. I was like, all right, well, king e1, right? Rook d8. I gotta defend this square somehow. So if I play rook c2, queen, you know, mates me on d1, so that's really bad. And the rook is on pre on c2, so that doesn't work. I was kind of looking at queen c5 here, or queen a5, but then bishop b2 I thought was really unpleasant. So what I did end up playing was this other move here, bishop d3. And I was kind of like, you know what, all right, I'll give some stuff back with the idea that, like, when I give the stuff back, I'll still have, like, this passed pawn, I'll have this pawn, and then I'll start rolling with the homies. I'll still have an exchange sacrifice. I'll still have an exchange for the bishop pair. Like, and things won't be that bad. Okay, so we'll continue here. So bishop d3, and it's saying it's just about equal here. So rook d8. So in this position, I thought a lot about rook hd1. That was like what I was going to play. Like I was pretty much dead set on playing rook hd1 here. What move we on 19? And then I saw this other move, and I was like, oh man, like rook hd1 is what my plan was. I was going to play bishop d3, rook hd1, and then if he played queen d3, I would take it. He would take it with check, right? So all right. So I was looking at this line. So rook hd1, take with check, king e2, and things aren't so bad, right? He'll take here, maybe. Excuse me. First, he'll take on d1. I'll take on d1. He can't take here because of the back rank threat, so he'll have to play like h6. And this isn't the end of the world. All right, he's got the bishop pair, but I've got pawns that are very dangerous. Like I can play b4 at some point. Maybe not exactly in this position, but maybe I can play it. Maybe I can get away with this. So I was like, all right, well, that seems pretty good. But as it so often happens in chess, you see a move and you think like, okay, that seems okay. And that was part of my plan, but what about this other move? What if I play this move instead? Right? And my thought was like, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to force him to take on d3. Okay, so I'll force him to take on d3. And then my pawn will be that much more advanced. And fuck it, like, I'm just crushing him here. Right? Like, this is kind of what I had envisioned would happen. And again, as it so often happens in chess, you know, you have a plan, and then you get punched in the face, and then you got to make a new plan. So what I didn't realize, or what I didn't calculate, rather, was that, like, he doesn't have to take on d3. He doesn't have to play this move queen x d3. He can play this move. And immediately when I played c6, I was like maybe 30 seconds later, I was looking at the position, and I was like, oh, fuck. Queen c7 is going to happen. And then I'm going to be like, I'm going to be so up the creek here if he plays queen c7. And he did. He played queen c7. To his credit, he found this move. And I was like, well, shit. So, all right. I don't want to get a position. I do not want to have a position where I trade, where I've got two rooks versus a bishop and a queen. That seems pretty absurd to me. So what I ended up doing was I played this move, again, because I'm fucking greedy, and I want to hold on to this pawn for reasons I can't explain. I played this move queen b4. And, you know, now the position, I have to win the game all over again, right? I was completely winning. Now I'm slightly worse. And now I've got to win this game all over again. Yep, that is the Mike Tyson quote. And I think actually Joe Louis might have said it first, or Ray Robinson might have said it first. But anyway, yeah. So, yep, everybody's got to play until they get punched in the face. So, I played this move queen b4, and I started crapping my pants because I was like, all right, rook b8 is going to suck. Like, this move seems really, really good. He also can just take here, which is also good, you know. So I wonder actually, so what does the computer say? So rook hd1 is what the computer's giving. I don't know how you meet this, though. This looks super shitty for me. Like, I don't care about, like, 2 rooks versus a bishop and a queen. That seems ridiculous. I don't know. I don't buy this. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I just can't buy that. So I played queen b4. Whoops. I played queen b4. And here I thought he would play rook b8. And just try and keep the initiative and try to, like, cram his pieces down my throat. I started, like, I was like, oh my god, I'm going to lose this game. Like, this is really bad. But he ended up playing probably what is the best move, which is, so let's see here. We are on move 21. He played bishop x d3. And I was like, ah, shit. And that's what the computer's recommending. And let me turn that up. So here I played rook hd1, which is part of my plan. And he kind of played a move that took me by surprise a little bit here. Because here I thought that he would play like some move like bishop a6. I thought he would play bishop a6, check, right? And I would play like king e1. And, yeah, it's kind of unclear as to what the hell's going on here. I thought that this position was really complicated and really dangerous for white. But he played a move that surprised me. He played this move bishop d6, which, as it turns out, I don't think is that great of a move. So, yeah. So, I don't think I played the best response, but he played this move bishop d6, and let's see what the position saying. Okay, sure. So here again, I started kind of going into panic mode. So I saw this move queen b7, but I was like, okay, queen a5 check. And then I was like, well, how greedy can I really be? Right? I was looking at b4, but that doesn't work because bishop b4 check I think is really good. So I was like, all right, well, king d3. And then what if he plays like, I don't know, bishop, I don't even know, bishop h2 check or something. I wonder what the computer gives here. Wow, 6 point, wow, Jesus. This looks really dangerous, though, you know, like, I don't know. This just seems like such a dangerous position for white. So I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, anyway, wow, there's a fuckload of people watching, considering I'm really not doing anything all that important, or I'm not even really playing chess, I'm just analyzing. So, thank you for joining me. If this is your first time, please hit that follow button. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up on YouTube. And as always, I stream on ICC periodically. But today we're just doing analysis. So, I thought that this position looked really dangerous. I don't like having my king in the middle of the board. I think that it's reasonable to not want to have your king in the middle of the board. So queen b7, I kind of discounted, and I ended up playing queen c3. And here we repeat the position, which is not the best move, I think. I think here he should play something different. Bishop f1. That's a move I don't understand. Okay, bishop f1, and if I take on f1, he goes... Okay, so what I'm looking at here is this, this, and this. And that seems pretty good to me. That seems like it should be winning, actually, for black. Sure, so shut up. Shut up. I was also thinking he would play bishop b5 here. Is that good? Seems pretty good. But he repeated the position. So he played bishop e5. And I was like, all right, well, you know, I can do that too. I'll go queen b4. And he went bishop d6 again. And I was like, all right, well, I'm playing a lower-rated opponent. I don't want to draw right now. And I can continue playing with this move, queen a4. So queen a4 is a move I can continue playing. I probably should take a draw in this position because I'm worse. Against a higher-rated player, I'd obviously take a draw in this position. But in this position, I'm... against a low-rated player. I thought it was complicated. I couldn't see what he was going to do, so I was like, all right, I'm just going to... I want to keep playing, you know? I don't think I was too unreasonable there, but, wow, this is like a record for Twitch. This is really funny. So anyway, so I played queen a4. And again, if you got a comment, just, you know, let me know. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the position. Otherwise, this gets kind of monologue-y. So in this position, my opponent, I think, played a pretty weak move, bishop h2. I thought rather he should play like, I don't even know what I thought he should play. What was I thinking here? Like, I don't know actually. I was thinking maybe he would play like bishop e5 or something again and go after this pawn. I thought that might be reasonable. And then he opens up the discovery on my king, and maybe I go king e1 or something here, but I lose the b2 pawn, and yeah, this doesn't really seem like it's all that great for me. But he played this move bishop h2, and I was like, well, shit. I mean, I've got this move g3 I can potentially play, but instead I played it kind of safely. I was like, all right, I got to get my king out of the center, right? That seems like it's a big problem. So g3, bishop b5 check, I think actually just wins the house, right? So let's see, g3. Yeah, bishop b5 check wins the house. Yeah, one of my dipshit friends after the game was like, couldn't you just play g3 there? And I was like, no, I don't think I could, but what do I know? His rating is 1,500, so my rating is 2,100. You wouldn't be able to tell by the way I played this game or the next one that I analyzed, but his rating was like 1,550 or 1,560. But he found a lot of really good moves here. To his credit, he found a lot of really good moves, and he is winning here, and he should have won this game, but there is some injustice in chess. So anyway, so I played king e1, yes, and that's what the computer recommends. That's good. And he played this move bishop e5, which makes a lot of sense to me. And here I blundered. But at this point, I had, I think, 5 minutes, and he had 3 minutes. So it's not really a great excuse, I guess, but it is an excuse. So I will accept my excuse as to why I played so terribly here. I am kind of running low on time, but it's not whatever. So I played queen b3 here, which is bad. I believe it's bad. I think in this position I should play... I wonder if b4 is possible. b4... b4 is certainly interesting. I don't know. Let's ask our friend. Oh, okay, so that does work. Interesting. But yeah, what I played was queen b3. And queen b3 runs into a whole host of shit that I gotta now deal with, like queen a5 check, which is what he played in the game. And again, because I'm greedy, I played this move rook d2. And this is also a pretty weak move. I should just give up the exchange here with rook c3, but I am greedy and stupid. So he played bishop b5, so now he's got this whole thing going on here. And this is very problematic for me, as you can see. So yeah, this is a problem. This is bad times all the way around. So I played this move, rook d1, and he played what I thought was a pretty good move. You know, he's got a minute now. I've got, I think, on rook d2 I had 5 minutes, probably have less than that. So he played this move, bishop a4, and I'll let you guys think about this for a hot second while I go move my potato that I'm currently baking. So just take a second here and think about this position and try and think what you might have played. And we're back. I apologize. I keep getting up and fucking stopping and starting this shit. Yeah, so excellent point to Guanabi. I should have played queen a4. That would have been goddamn brilliant. And of course, the same friend after the game who was asking me about g3 was like, hey, couldn't you have played queen captures a4 there? And I was like, shit, you're right. I'm an asshole. But I somehow thought that, like, oh, like queen a4, but like I don't know, I don't like it's just sometimes you just have brain farts. And I sat in this position, and so from move 28 to 30, I spent 3 minutes. So I had to have thought about this move, like queen a4, right? But I just somehow thought that, like, I just started seeing ghosts. I was like, somehow I thought, oh, like queen d2 check. But like, I can't explain it. Can't explain it. Can't explain it, and I won't try to explain it. I blundered horrendously. So I played this move, queen a3. It's so funny. I wonder actually what the computer gives. It's probably like negative. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. 19, queen xa4. Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. And yeah, so I just, I was drunk. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't drunk. I wish I was drunk. This way I'd have a good excuse. But so, queen a3, and here he played bishop d6. And I played queen to c3. Wow, c7. But at this point, so I want to make a note here, because after queen a3, I had 2 minutes on my clock. And I had noticed that when I hit my clock, it wasn't my clock, it was my opponent's clock, actually. So when I hit his clock, I depressed the button, right? Or I depressed the button. And I'm waiting for him to make his move. And then I look at the clock again, and I notice that my time is still fucking running. And I'm like, well, what the hell is this shit? So his clock is running even though I pressed the button. So it's just one of those things, and I started getting rattled. And I was like, well, I hit the clock again, and then when I hit the clock again, that triggered his time, and all of a sudden now I'm down on time. So he was down on time, but now I'm down on time because my time is running on his. I'm hitting the button, and my time's still running. So I was like, all right, well, this is infuriating. So I got kind of rattled. I played this move, queen c3. I've got a minute now. And I stopped keeping notes here, but what ended up happening here is that he plays queen c3. And this is really bad for me. I take, he takes, I take, and he plays king f8. And I played, I think it was like rook d4, and he played king e7. And I played rook a4, and he played bishop a to c5. And at this point, I'm just kind of in crap your pants panic mode, so I played rook c4, and he plays king d6, and we're both blitzing at this point. I played like here, he played here. Oops, nope, excuse me. I didn't do that. I played rook here, and he played here, here, and here. And I might have played back here or something, he probably took. I play a check, he goes back. You'll just have to just believe me on this one. At some point, we get to a position where, and I have a note here. Just give me 1 sec, guys. I'm sorry. Let's put a pawn there, and let's take his king off and put his king there. Yes, this was over the board. Yep, this is an over the board game. And so we are now in time pressure. And let's take this guy off, and we'll put a rook here, and I will take this guy off, and I will put a pawn here, and let's put this over here, and let's put this guy over, yeah, and somehow he loses this pawn. So we get to this position. And my previous move had been rook a6 check. And in this position, my opponent decides that he will also play a check. He will play rook a1 check. But actually, here, hold on a sec, so I can give it... Okay, so rook a6 check, and my opponent plays rook a1 check, which is illegal. And so I'm like, okay. And at this point, we're the last game to play. So everyone's standing around watching, and I tell my opponent, you cannot do that because you are in check. And my opponent says, oh. And he thought, he was under the impression that you have to say check, which is actually pretty poor sportsmanship. You're supposed to be quiet. You're not supposed to say check. He was saying check, and I was like, oh, this is annoying. So I get 2 minutes on my clock now, and I'm like, all right, it's party time. I've got 2 minutes, and he has less than 2 minutes. But the TD didn't know how to set the clock. So there's a whole fucking fiasco with the TD. He can't set the clock. He doesn't know how to, whatever. So in any event, he plays his move King G5. And I'm like, okay, C5. And he plays Rook A1 check. And I'm like, all right, King E2. And here he plays Bishop C3. And I'm like, okay. Back to prime time here. We're back to winning. So I take, he takes, I play C6, and eventually I make a queen. He played, I don't know, some move like here, and I played here, and then he realized that he can't catch this pawn. And so that's how it goes. So yeah. Does anybody have any questions or anything like that? I know that that I kind of went through the ending there a little bit quickly, so let's just go back. But the moral of the story here is that, I mean, I guess there isn't really a great moral, but yeah, you know, you always want to be careful, because in an attempt to liquidate and, you know, get a better game, he allowed me to get this in. So yeah, so there's that game. And I've got one more here that I can analyze, unless anybody has questions here. Any questions? All right. Well, in any event, I'm going to try and go through this one a little bit quicker than this last one because, yeah, just because I think it'll be, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so in any event, examine. So in this game I had black, and my opponent was rated 1750-ish, roughly. Again, I'm 2100, so knight f3, knight f6, g3, g6, blah, blah, bishop g2, bishop g7, castles, castles. And he's, you know, this opening is very flexible for white. And I'm kind of like, all right, well, you play some moves, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy your moves. So he played d4, and then I decided I didn't want to copy his moves anymore. So I played d6, and he plays this move bishop g5. And I was like, that's kind of weird. What's the point of this move? Like, I can play h6. Like, typically this is the King's Indian Yugoslav, by the way, if he plays here. And this is, you know, a very interesting opening. Not really played very much anymore, but I happen to think it's decent for black. And it's playable in my opinion, so I play it. Whatever. I'm sure a couple of you might disagree, but this is fine. Yeah, Prime Share, that was a hell of a relief. I was so annoyed with myself because, like, I was winning the game, and then I was losing the game, and then I was winning the game, and it's very much a roller coaster, especially after I hadn't played since the New York State Championships on Labor Day. So to get back into chess, like, I hadn't even, like, thought about, like, the only time I really play chess at all is when you guys see me streaming. So just to get back over the board and, like, trying to shake off the rust and, like, play, like, a long game was kind of like, ugh. So anyway, bishop g5, h6, I think is a pretty natural move. Bishop f6, I took. It was possible to take with the e-pawn, and that might have alleviated some of my stress in the game, because here he plays an interesting move. He plays this move knight e4, which isn't really something I had considered. So let's take a look with the computer. The computer is saying bishop d4. I don't love the idea of this. I guess I win a pawn here, but I give away my good bishop. And I did look at that briefly, but I don't know. I don't like giving away my good bishop. So it's interesting, because in the last game I was so fucking greedy, and then in this game I wasn't greedy. I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't have any excuses. So anyway, I just played back, and I was kind of like, all right, if you want to take on c5, I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the initiative. So he did. He went with his plan, dx c5. And I was like, okay, dx c5. I wonder what the computer's saying in this position. Roughly equal. Okay. Knight x c5. And I was like, okay, I've got a couple options here. I can go queen b6 or queen c7. So queen b6 attacks the knight and the b2 pawn, and I'm already on the b2 pawn. I can also take bishop b2. I thought bishop b2 was interesting, but then I was worried about rook b1. So, like, we can look at that real quick. This is kind of the line I was looking at. I thought this wasn't great. Let's see what the computer says. Okay, the computer kind of saying it's unclear. So I was looking at queen b6, but then I was kind of like, queen b6, like, I don't know. Well, actually, what does the computer recommend for? Ah, that's right, knight a4. Yeah, I saw this during the game. Yeah, and then I was kind of like, if I go queen c7, he's got like c5 ideas. I don't know. But so I was like, all right, well, with all that in mind, with the idea of knight a4 and the c5, and it's going to be kind of annoying, I might as well just play queen c7. I could also take here, but that seems to me to be giving up some stuff. Like I want to play with the initiative, so that was kind of my idea. And here I can, I've got rook d8 in some lines. I can go b6. He's got some weird pieces. So anyway, queen c7, and here he played. I wonder what the computer says. Yeah, so here he played queen c1, which I thought was like a little weak, but he's on my h6 pawn, and he's defending his b2 pawn, and okay, sure. So let's see here. Yeah. So here I played b6, and after the game, my opponent said that he thought that b6 was a mistake on my part, and it might be. This might be a mistake. So he plays knight e4, and here I played. So here I had a couple of options. I really wanted to play bishop a6. I was looking at bishop e6 to load up on the c4 pawn, and then go knight a5 in some lines and attack here. I really wanted to play bishop a6, though. That was really my dream. But then I started thinking, like, okay, bishop a6. And then what if he plays, like, rook b1? Then really, if he plays this line, then I want to reposition my bishop to back here. Because if I play knight a4 now, then he just goes b3. And am I right? Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, in lieu of that, I want to keep my bishop on this diagonal, the h3 c8 diagonal. I think that this is where my bishop belongs. And, I can still maintain my idea here. I'm not going to have the idea of going to the e2 square, but, big deal. If he tries to do anything cute, I can, like rook b1, I can go bishop f5 and pin his knight. So and then if he tries to defend, I can go rook fd8, and I can capture his knight in some lines. So, I don't know. I thought that this was pretty flexible. I don't know. I could be wrong, but let's see. Twitch seems like it keeps freezing on me. So bishop e6 is what I played. Let's see. What does the computer think? The computer's saying it's pretty unclear. When the computer says 0.00 in a position where you sacrificed a pawn, you can say that that position is unclear and that you have some compensation. Just FYI for everyone who's out there who doesn't know. And I'm not giving the computer a lot of time to think here, but so let's see here. So he played c5, and I was thinking like, all right, rook a c8, and I'll have some good stuff here, like rook a c8, takes, and then I was like, all right, well, he can go like, I don't know. I was thinking somehow that he could play like rook b1, but I guess bishop f5 is okay, but knight d2, rook fd8, is this good? Oh, yeah, so this is good for black. Because he can't really defend this. Well, actually, can he? Can he go rook d1? Knight d4. Oh, okay. Interesting. And this opens up that. And there's no way for him to defend the pawn with the queen. Okay. So that was interesting. That would have been an interesting line, actually. Rook a c8. But I started, I guess, maybe not overthinking this position, but I was like, oh, well, in some lines, I want to have this rook on b8, and I want to load up on the b2 pawn. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to play rook fc8. And there's that famous quote by Karchnoi, I think, and the quote is like, when you have a possibility of moving two rooks, take a couple minutes and think about which rook you want to move, and then move the other one, right? Because you're never going to be correct about the rook that you end up moving. And this is a classic example. In the position, I probably should have played rook ac8. And that's saying negative 0.6. In the game, I played rook fc8. And we're at negative 0.4, negative 0.2. So, like, okay, I spent 2 or 3 minutes here. But anyway, so I thought he played a blunder here, queen e3. Because now I like my idea of going knight b4. Because, you know, I've got this thing going on here. I've got this fork idea. If I can make an arrow, I've got bishop b2 as possible. I'm on his pawn a couple times, so this is pleasant for me. But anyway, so let's turn this off. So he played cx b6, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take the initiative and just run with it. I thought that this is pretty good here for me. I wonder what the computer thinks about ax b6. Okay, it does. It likes it. All right, good. So he played rook ac1, and I was like, okay, that's kind of annoying, but you're not stopping my idea, which is to go knight c2. Okay, cool. So knight c2. And we're on the queen again here. So he plays queen d2. And now we're just going to run roughshod all over his pawns here. So rook a2, rook fd1, and then here I played rook b2. I think bishop, oh shit, that's not what I played. I played rook b2, but I think bishop b2 might have been better. But I was worried about queen h6 and this shit. So let's look at this position. Okay. Yeah. And there's no more checks, actually, believe it or not. So let's pretend, though, that he's not a moron, and he plays this move, rook c1. Then what do I do? Knight e3. Ah, duh. I'm on it twice. Oh, this is interesting. Ah, okay. Yeah, no, this is yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I missed this move knight e3 in my analysis. But anyhow, what I played I thought was reasonable. So I played rook b2. And it's reasonable. And then I was kind of like, yeah, all right. So what does he even do in this position? So he played knight e1, and I thought for a while here, and I was like, all right, so I've got a couple options. I can go bishop c3 was one of the moves I was looking at. I was looking at b5, but I thought b5 was a bit too optimistic. I was looking at knight e1. I thought knight e1 was reasonable, but, you know, then he takes, and yeah, maybe I take, and then maybe he takes with check, and I don't know. It looked kind of messy. So what I ended up playing was this greedy-ass move, f5. What did the computer want me to do? Rook a2. Ah, I see. Yeah, rook a2 because the bishop defends. And then, you know, we can do some stuff. I don't know. But I played this move f5 because I saw that his knight has no squares. Look at none of these squares that his knight has. Look at all of these no squares that his knight has. I forgot one of them. So I was like, all right, cool. So he played knight d3. And I was like, yeah, so what? I'm just going to take this. And in retrospect, based on what I'm seeing here, that was a blunder. So, yeah, rook d8 is the move I missed here. That would have been a lot better, which pins his knight to his queen. So I took it, and he took, and I took, and he played here. And I was kind of like, this is a problem, so I should defend this guy. And he played bishop a4, bishop e4 rather. And I'm going to give you guys a second here. Actually, wait a second. Yes. So just take a second and think about what black is going to do, and I'm going to check on my potato. I'll be right back. And I apologize. I know I left the motherfucking engine on, so for all of you who did not cheat, kudos to you. For all of you who were staring at the engine, even though it's my own fault because I left it on, kudos to you as well, I guess. So in this position, I played bishop xc1. Man, it would be cool if I could see if you guys were saying anything important. And here he played rook xc1. And in this position again, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I believe I made a mistake here, right? So the issue here is that he's on my Bowser. He's on my knight twice, right? So I was like, all right, well, I can go queen d7 or I can go queen d6. And if he tries to take my knight, then I've got this check. Or if he tries to take the knight with the bishop, so that's if he tries to take it with the rook. If he tries to take it with the bishop, I can take with the rook. He'll take, and then I'll play the check. And then I'll win the rook, and then he can resign, as he has no checks. And ultimately the difference between queen d7 and queen d6 was that, like, if I go queen d7, I was like, all right, he has bishop g6. And I thought that this would be a little bit dangerous for me. Yeah, so actually it's saying that this is a draw. So anyway, what I ended up playing was this move, queen d6. Ah, okay, so this actually isn't bad. So here he played... here he made a really bad blunder. So here he played... oops, Jesus, I hope you guys can hear me. So here he played rook xc2, which is basically just a resignation at this point. So I'll go through this kind of quickly. Queen d1 check, king g2, rook here. I thought he should play bishop g6, but apparently it doesn't matter because I can eventually I get out of the checks. But so he took and I took, and he played queen e3 and I played queen to c6 and he played f3 and queen e6, queen d2, b5, and start rolling with the homies. Once you got to pass pawn, you got to push it. He played queen d8 check. I don't really care about these checks, so I went to h7. He played queen d4. He wants to make this check. Again, though, I don't really care about these checks because I'm going to start taking his pawns. And then I played queen xf3 and he resigned. Because of queen h4, then I go queen h5 and we're both pinning each other. And then the game ends because I've got this pawn. So, as it turned out in both games, the b pawns turned out to be pretty important. But yeah, does anybody have any questions? I'm not sure when you mean Prime Shoe. I'm sorry. My Twitch seems to be fakakta. But anyways, alrighty. Well, it's so annoying that my Twitch chat isn't connecting. So those are the games. I guess I will. I'll take some questions here if I can fucking get Twitch chat working. Let's turn this off and try to save myself some processor. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if this is something you want to see again. I've got a lot of games I can analyze. I can show you some cool ones. I can show you some of my greatest escapes. That one probably is the one from earlier today is probably in the top 10 great escapes. I definitely have some other ones that are much better swindles, but I mean not much better, but definitely better swindles. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody joining. Yep, so I scored 2 out of 2. Actually, it was a 3-round tournament, and so it was a 3-round tournament. I took a half-point bye in the last round so I could come home and walk my dog. So yeah, so I netted $34. So that was pretty cool. Nice to win money, and it's nice to win 2 games after being away for a while, and nice to get rating points too. And this was on Saturday. I played these games on Saturday. So, I hope everybody had a great day today. I hope everybody enjoyed this. Again, let me know in the comments if you want to continue seeing these games. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to stick around a little while. I'm about to go make myself some dinner. But, yeah, I will catch you guys. I'll probably be playing again tomorrow. So hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow. So thanks for joining, everybody, and I hope everybody has a good week.